welcome to our channel again. So today, here with you is Rachel Kinya, psychology student, and I'd like our guests to briefly introduce themselves as we start from my far right.
Hi everyone, my name is Maureen Ettore. I'm a social practitioner. Yes, stay tuned.
Thank you, Maureen.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
I'm Reverend Martin Muidigin Tonja, Superintendent Minister, MCK Ruaraka. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
My name is Anne Kirotei Nanga. I'm a counseling psychologist, specifically marriage and family therapist. And I handle family, individuals, groups, everyone across life.
Okay.
And I'm also a mediator.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I welcome you all to this panel. So I know you're wondering today what we are talking about. Today it's matters relationship, and we'll be highlighting the different stages of a relationship, starting from dating, courtship, and finally marriage. I know most of you as young people are skipping these stages, but today, not to worry, we shall be guided through the processes of a relationship, and stay tuned. And I'll be handing over to you, Mrs. Inanga, to highlight the different stages and what actually happens in a relationship.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kiki. Thank you for your very important question this afternoon, because I know most of the young people ask these questions, and we try to answer them to our level best. And so the very first stage of our relationship is the initial stage or meeting stage. This is where you meet a young man, a young lady, they meet together, and they get attracted to each other. And when they get attracted to each other, you know, now the chemistry starts playing around, and they continue that way. And this is now the stage that these people have just met, and they are strangers, they don't know each other, so they are trying to know who is this. And so this is just basically just like you see a book, there is a cover, so you don't really know what is inside. You just see the cover, and the cover attracts you. Maybe it is a personality, maybe it is the way this girl is beautiful, maybe it is the way this young man is built, maybe it is the physique. And so that is basically the very initial stage of meeting. And so the second stage, we go to curiosity stage. Yes, you have met this young girl, you have met this young man. Now you become curious, since you are already attracted to this man or young lady. Now you are curious. Who is this? Who is Kiki, for example? Yes. I want to know what does Kiki like? What does
What do we eat?
What does she like? Maybe eating. Where does she like going? Now that is now the second stage, and. Now in the third stage, we go to enlightenment stage. And the enlightenment stage is kind of the initial stages of becoming a couple.
Yes.
Now at this stage, you are kind of now getting sure this is the person I think I am now not really attracted. Now it is beyond attraction. I think I am developing some love for this person.
Yes.
And so you continue like that, slowly by slowly. Although sometimes these stages, you don't even realize which is which. Because we say love is blind, and most of these things, they just come, and you just find yourself acting this way, that way. You are not sure which is which. But at this stage, you are kind of now sure what is happening to you, and you have like even told each other, by the way, I love you, So you now have this strong bond, and you continue that way. And now after this, we now go to the fourth stage, which is now the commitment stage. This stage now, you now actually now even go home. You even now tell your parents, by the way, mom, I have a boyfriend so and so, whom I think I love, and
Yes.
I think we're getting married. And the man, the young one, also introduces you to his parents and the relatives generally before the actual marriage takes place. Yeah. So, and then now the process continues.
Yes.
So, and before we go far, at this stage, there are some questions you ask yourself as this relationship continues. For example, some people ask, what is the longest period of time you have remained single, for example? So, you know, nowadays, ladies, or maybe even the young men, some are staying for as long as 40 years.
Single.
Yes. Others, 30, maybe the ladies 35, and you know,
Times
they are
have
taking
changed.
some time.
Yeah.
What I am trying to talk about here is take time to know your partner. Because if you really rush to, you know, the come we stay that we are saying, we are seeing nowadays, you are really going, you know,
Yes.
you are going too fast, but too near. You may not really go, you know, you hear of some people who have been together for 50, 60 years marriage. But so if you don't take time to understand each other, it is going to be very, very difficult for you, because there are things you're going to discover when you start staying together that you never knew, because
Yeah.
you didn't take time to really understand
Each
who
other.
is this. Neither did he understand you.
Yes.
So you are very likely to land into problems. And no wonder nowadays the marriages come with stay, and they are hardly taking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides now the intimate partner relationship violence that we are witnessing nowadays. Yeah.
But now we are talking about this. This is going to address people who maybe have not yet gotten into that. Now, what will you tell someone who is already in that situation, the come stay, or has already gotten into the commitment stage, but has skipped the other stages? What do they do now that they didn't know previously? This is what I was supposed to do, and now we are here. So, what would you tell them to do?
Thank you for that question, Kiki. For people who are already staying together, even if they do not really understand each other, there is something they can go for things like counseling, premarital counseling.
Yes.
That can really help them. Premarital counseling will address things like how much money do we have?
Yes.
How do we, you know, how do we plan our budget?
Yes.
What is really our needs? You know, the things that we really need immediately.
Yes.
You know, and once they go there, and they probably also they are also taught maybe how many children do we want to have in our marriage. So you know, maybe the lady wants 6 children. Maybe the man is talking about 3 children. So how do you come to a compromise?
Yes.
You know, everything is about listening to each other. There is actually something we call emotional bank account. Because people fight because maybe this young man wants to be listened to. And this lady, back from her home, they never listen to each other. So she has never been taught how to
listen.
To listen.
Yes.
She completely has no listening skills. The man probably is also too demanding. So there is no time like we come together and I really listen to what were you saying.
Yes.
Did I really analyze what you were saying? Did I jump to conclusions? Was I too demanding? What was really happening? Yes. And this emotional bank account actually talks about something, the initials are something to do with the dear man.
Dear?
Dear man.
Okay.
You know? Dear man is, first of all, D stands for describing your emotions.
Describing emotions.
So as a man, as a lady, we are together in the house. I don't know what you're feeling. Neither do you know.
What I'm feeling, yes.
So when you come as a man, you are demanding, I want A, B, C, D. And for me, maybe I've had a very, very tough day wherever I was. So I'm like, I wish this man asked me how my day was. I at least try to empty my heart to him so that he understands me. But now that was not there. So to me, I would say now, let's take for example John. John was too demanding for me, and I feel like he's very unfair to me. And also, let me take your example of your name. Kiki also felt like, my emotions are crushed because he did not give me time to tell him how I'm feeling. So that is why we need to take time to understand each other.
Yes.
So that now I'm able to describe my emotions.
Yes.
And once I describe my emotions, you also describe yours. We come to an understanding of, this is what is happening. So we are able to actually empathize with each other.
Yes.
And once that is done, then we understand each other.
Yes.
And then the E is the expressing of the emotions. There is the describing. And now there is this expressing. I felt this because this A, B, C, D happened, and this is why I'm feeling this way. And so once you feel listened to, you actually feel understood.
Yes.
Which is really, really
important,
like missing nowadays. And the A is the assertiveness. Assertiveness is, for example, you need something, or the other person needs whatever it is, but I am not really able to tell exactly what. Assertiveness deals with I statements. For example, I'm feeling sad because I lost my mother. I'm feeling sad because A, B, C, D happened. I'm feeling like, Kiki, you're not listening to me, and that's why I am, not feeling happy.
Yes.
So I use I statements, not you did not listen to me. When you point a finger at someone, whether it is in the relationship or not, that person feels judged. They feel, I can't even, you block them.
Yes.
They cannot even talk anymore. But if now the person is assertive and you say, I feel A, B, C, D, not you did A, B, C, D to me. So that way you feel understood.
Yes.
And once you understand each other, life continues and it becomes smooth.
Yes.
And R is reinforcement.
Reinforcement, yeah.
So reinforcement here is now trying to actually explain further.
Yes.
I felt sad because A, B, C, D happened. This is why I'm feeling this way. The way you are treating, I don't like the way you are treating me.
Yes.
I actually feel like you're very unfair, And once that happens, you now reinforce what you had already explained to your partner. And now we go to man, which is M, is being mindful of your partner. Being mindful means just taking into consideration what, I said this to my partner. What could really be happening in his mind? Do you really care about your partner?
Yes.
Like if you shout at him or he shouts at you, what happens to you? You feel your emotions are crushed. So be mindful of what your partner is feeling.
Yes.
And then A is appear confident. Sometimes, especially as women, we are like, let my husband say.
Submissive.
You without realizing that you too need to be heard. Because if you are not heard, then how is he going to understand you? Yes. You are just there and you are like, let him say, probably because back at home as you were growing up, that is how your mother was treated by your father, But now, here, if you appear confident of what you are saying, actually, even this man is going to, be very proud of you. My wife is confident when she's talking.
Yes.
She knows what she's saying, So it's very, very important to be confident about what you are saying.
Yes.
And the end in the man is negotiation.
Negotiation. Yes.
When you are together, it's no longer a life of I. It's a life of we. We are together, and the way God brings people together. I don't know whether you have ever seen people who have been together for so long. By the way, they even look alike. It is true.
So true.
I could see my father look at my mother, and it's like my mother already knows what my father was communicating.
Yes.
So when you are negotiating, you're like, yes, this is what I want. But what does my husband want? So whatever it is, we discuss together, and we come to a conclusion, having considered each other's opinions, and then we now do whatever it is we are doing as a team.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's something you said about people going to premarital counseling.
Yes.
And I'd like to ask Reverend Ntonja the difficulties you've experienced with young people when they come for counseling, and what are the problems you have been able to see?
Thank you so much for that amazing question. One of the challenges and the major challenges that we are having today in the church is the misconception about the whole idea of marriage. I think at some point either the church or the family unit has been missing in action, and therefore the young people have learned a lot of things that are even the wrong things.
Yes.
And therefore by the time people come for counseling, they've already gone so many steps ahead, and therefore you now really have to start bringing them back to the foundation, and then you start rebuilding them again.
Yes.
Because the strength of every house is determined by the foundation. Yeah.
So true. So I'm sure there are things that young people think wanakwanga na ideologies wamejisetia, like certain things we are supposed to be doing are okay. So what would you say are these things that young people might be doing wrong during those sessions that you've had with them?
Thank you so much for that. I know most of us have got gadgets like phones, laptops, and such. And one of the things you realize when you go and purchase it, there is what we call a manual. And the manual is basically to help you know the composition and how to use the gadget.
Yes.
Same case, it's always good to understand marriage. Exactly what is marriage. And I would begin by saying that marriage is not a church idea. Marriage is not a communal idea. Marriage is not an idea that emanated from man, but marriage is God's own idea. This means that God has the first and the final say in a marriage relationship.
Yes.
And when we talk of a marriage relationship, it involves the process. I like it how Anne has rightfully put it. So the entire process, every stage has got a divine way of how to handle it.
Yes.
And once we miss one, then it means the deal has already been corrupted.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now, I'd like to debate on that. You've said marriage it's something that comes from God, and marriage-based relationship. But I think when we have that mentality, it kind of scares young people, because they're like, oh, I'm not ready. Inafika 24. Oh, I'm not ready. I don't think. There's this mentality, Maureen, I'm sure you've faced, like, niya watu wakubwa. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say that's an issue. Yeah, it's a challenge. I think even in our generation, that's why you find, like, in the dynamics of the growing world or modern changing world, where you find that maybe we are getting married, or maybe even not considering the idea of marriage at a very late age, simply because of maybe the education systems. Apart from that, now also that fear or that, mentality that marriage is this big thing, this monster that is for grown-ups. I'm still not ready because others maybe think it's so Christian, like, I don't know. I think there's no clear alignment or light to the youth, like on issues or matters marriage. Yeah.
Basically, what I may say about that, and this is really interesting, is that when we do not have the right information, we tend to fall prey to the wrong stuff. For instance, the issue of sex. You see, I grew up when sex was kind of a taboo. And people, when they hear anything about sex, maybe as a child you try to inquire from your parent and they are like, oh, nakosa adabu. So next time, you fear even mentioning the word sex. And therefore, because of this, we have a generation that if we are to put it as it is, a generation that is already married, yet they appear single. Why am I saying this? Because the consummation of marriage itself is not the wedding ring. The consummation of marriage in itself is not the celebration in the church. The consummation of marriage, it is the sexual activity, which means if today a young person went out there and they started a friendship and they ended up in bed, I tell you for free, they already married. They already consummated, and these two are one. That is what the Bible basically says, and the two shall become one. And you see, when the two becomes one, the soul tie, because now this is where soul ties comes in. When there is the soul tie, it is like a bridge of the character and everything about this other person going to the other person. And this is why you heard Mrs. Inanga say, when people have been married, they tend to understand each other in a very unique language. Why? These people are soul ties, and therefore, whatever the other one wishes, the other one is already in knowledge of the same. But now, I heard you mention about divorces. The reason as even to why we have divorces is the same aspect. A person is married, and by the time they are saying that it's now that I'm getting married, they have a number of soul ties. And these soul ties, they are legal grounds of opposition even to the marriage and stuff. And that's why what you guys have begun is really nice and really interesting, because we are now bringing bringing back the aspect of real things about our young people, so that we may have the right understanding, and thus we have healthy relationships that leads to healthy marriages.
Okay. So, Mrs. Inanga, I believe you had more to share on relationships.
Yes. Pardon?
The more that you had to share on relationships and the stages.
Oh, okay. Just before we go there,
Okay.
there's something called the triangle. There is a theory of love.
Yes.
And this theory of love was developed by a psychologist who is very known, and is called Robert Sternberg.
Robert Sternberg.
Yes. And this was in 1985. And the psychologists developed a very, very interesting theory about the triangular theory of love. And this love, I wish there was a way we could have on the screen. We have intimacy. That is the first one up there. Then we have passion. We have commitment.
Yes.
And all these, the three components, when they are together, they make a very, very strong relationship. So, and they are normally the 7 components. And let's start with the first one, which is the infatuation, which is the passion.
Yes.
You know? And the passion is the component that is very, very familiar with most people.
Yes.
So,
As young people.
as young people, as actually, that's where I think it all starts.
Yes.
You know, when I see you, I like you, and nowadays you see somebody sees you the first day, maybe you are in a wedding somewhere, you met, and they're like, I love you. I mean, and probably being the girl, you may even never have heard this word before, you know? Maybe because back at home, our traditional way the way we were brought up, it was, I don't think I ever heard my mother say, I love you, my daughter. I don't think I heard that. Okay, my father said, but I couldn't understand what is this. But if you have heard it, like I heard it from my father, now when I go out there and I meet a young man who tells me, Anne, I love you, I am like, okay, I know this is not the love my father loves me with. This is now a different kind of love. But now, this kind of love that this man has told you that he loves you, is it really love? How do you just meet now? We just met after the wedding, and the man saying he loves me, and we are all over, and I'm like, hey, I've heard he has said, maybe Peter said he loves me, and I'm like, so I'm really there, and I'm ready for anything that Peter tells me, because he mentioned this one that I've never heard before.
We are calling it love at first sight.
Yes, that is the word.
And like we said, the stages of relationship, this is actually just the very initial. We just seen each other. So when I'm attracted to Peter, I don't necessarily love him.
Yes.
Because love, like the Bible tells us, is so patient. You know, it takes time to develop. So it is, I don't love Peter, neither does he love me. This is actually a misuse of the word. Honestly, it is. Because we've just met and we don't know each other. So maybe Peter is passionate about me. I'm also, you know, that passion. I like the way he looks. I like, you know, the way he talks. I like, maybe he was even the MC, you know. And I'm like, that MC, I feel like I have feelings for him.
And I have a question right there.
Yes.
And you are bringing out a very important aspect.
Yeah.
I know we might have limited time, but it's good we get to the basics.
Yes.
We always create time for this.
Yes.
You've talked about our growing up. Might it be that mostly there is a gap of love? That when someone comes and then speaks about love, we kind of get crazy about it. The young people get crazy about it, the confusion about it. I don't know, because as you put it, when we grow up, even the aspect of touch. I mean, we've grown up in a society whereby mtoto pale, mzazi hapa. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you very much, Rev, for that question. And you are very right. As we grow up, our parents, once maybe my mother finished cuddling the baby, it's like now no more touching. No, this girl has grown, and so ako pale and I'm here.
Yes.
So, but if the parents also, you know, they keep affirming the child. I love you, my daughter. I love you, my son. And also the touch is very, very important. It really affirms. It really brings the connection, you know? So it's really also very, very important that we learn to tell our children that we love them. And once you learn to tell, for example, your daughter that you love them, once they go out there, it will be very difficult to be confused by anyone, because now they know, my father told me he loves me. So even if you come and you tell me you love me, my father also loves me anyway, but he's not my husband, But there's that, connecting that, creating a relationship between children and their parents. And also, hugging also is good. Let your mother hug you, let your father hug. There is nothing wrong. That connection is very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, to continue, we see that when a passion is love, is a love component that many of us are familiar with, and it is responsible for the only, the heart is beating for this young man because he's saying that he loves you. Some even feel, hey, the stomach, the butterflies. When you see this man, because you are passionate about him, you feel, So that is how the passion is. Yes. Then the next one is just a second. Is the linking, which is the intimacy.
The linking,
yes.
Okay.
So, unlike passion, intimacy can be solely a very strong feeling within yourself, and it's that state of familiarity and friendship that comes with meeting someone you really feel for. Someone you can, you would love to always be around you.
Yes.
So the intimacy starts developing slowly by slowly as we continue with this the theory of triangle love. And then now we go to something called empty love. Empty love is also called a commitment. When you like this person so much, now it has grown to intimacy. Now you become committed. I think I have had feelings for others, but not as much as the way I have feelings for this particular person. So when you feel like you want to be committed to this person, it's like now they were maybe 5 before, but now you have singled out. It is Peter now. I am sure is now the one I feel I have feelings for, and so the passion continues to develop into love and into now commitment. Like we said before, now we start where you start now. Even your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, they know Peter is my boyfriend.
Yes.
So you start now the introduction. For your information, the sisters and the brothers even know the friend even before the parents. You just think it's just somebody there. But kumbe, this person is very, very close, is very close to me, and we are planning something, only that haijamachua kufika hapo to come to tell you.
Yes.
So and when now the next stage is fascious love, which is now commitment plus passion.
Maybe before you go to that,
yes,
you see now you are helping me a lot because of the question she asked.
Yes,
you've talked about out of the 5
yes.
Now someone realizes either Maureen or Peter is the person.
Yeah.
Now the challenge here is before that realization, people might have gone too far with the 4 of them or the 5 of them. And that is an aspect that needs to be addressed to our young people, because I believe condemning people does not bring out the best out of them.
Yes.
Is walking a journey with them, so that now I think we need to address this issue. When this starts, what are the do's and what are the don'ts, and what is it that makes a person just find themselves anytime someone approaches them, they are defenseless. So even by the time they are like, this is the person, they are broken so much, and it affects a lot. That stage,
this stage, like we started with the initial stage, it's important for any young person out there to really understand that, like I said, when you meet for the first time and someone tells you, I love you, that is not love. You just attracted to each other.
I hope you guys, you are listening to this. Are we there? So when someone just tells you that I love you, don't take that to the bank. Yes, please continue.
It is supposed to be given time. If the person really loves you, there is time. Create friendship. Get to learn this person. Understand what is the personality of this this person. What does he like? What doesn't he like?
Yes.
What happens if I say this? How does he behave? Do you even, for example, even as when the friendship is growing, you kind of even have time to like, how does this person behave under stress? For example, maybe he has maybe lost a close relative. What happens? Are you there for this person?
Yes.
What is it that really happens to him? So that is why I am saying when someone says I love you for the first time, for sure that is not love, because you don't understand who this person is.
Yes.
So it is good to give the relationship time by creating a friendship, so that now the friendship grows to intimacy. Intimacy grows to, a very strong bond. You are now very fond of each other. And as you know, young people hardly, when I'm fond of you, I hardly sleep before we talk, like even 5 times in a day. During the day I send you so many messages. How are you? How are you doing? And as this person replies the messages, you also know, okay, this person feels this way. You actually also discuss. And when you meet, you can be sure. If this person really loves you, they will even be able to tell you, by the way, when you wrote this message, or when you sent ABCD to me, I felt this way.
Yes.
And you discuss the feeling. Was it a good feeling? Was it a bad feeling? How then, if it was not a very pleasant feeling, how do you then, what do you do about it? Things like those.
And that's really important, because I associate and socialize with so many young people. And one of the memes that I've found interesting in this season, as I was discussing with some people about kuchill mpaka mtu aoe, and then someone sent me something, akaniuliza sasa Rev, hapa kuna shida. Sisi wengine tuna chill, tunangoja maembe yaive, lakini tunapongoja yaive wengine washachuna na wakakula kwa chumvi. And I really found that quite some stuff. And now that we are here even with some young people, and I think it's also good for them to speak and tell us what do they think about that, Maureen.
Now, maybe before they respond, let me ask a question. Now that you mentioned maembe, mangoes, you have seen mangoes grow, and you've seen they grow from the cassin to the big to until it becomes a mature mango. Now, suppose this mango, you just go and harvest it before it is ready, just in between there, and you keep it to ripen. What happens? What happens to this mango when you are eating? How do you feel?
The taste is not the same.
The taste is not good.
It's like zile zingine watu wanachune and then they use hot water to ripen.
To ripen.
Yeah,
They boil them.
Yeah, they boil them.
Even if you boil a mango, even if you put sugar or salt or the whole whatever they mix, even honey, it will never taste like the mature mango that you have, you have picked and you are now eating. You can imagine like a sweet juice. It can never be the same. And this applies to the young people. If you have sex today prematurely before you get married, like Rev said, the soul ties, it actually even becomes a very, very serious problem in your relationship.
Yes.
Because you'll now be comparing, by the way, this is how so-and-so is. This is how so-and-so is. So how many are you going to have? And then how hearts do you have to divide your love between Peter, John, Harry, who? How committed are you? So you need to bring all these things together so that you find it is very, very important for young people to be patient until the day you say, I do.
I have another question that is arising from the problem of us as young people. When you tell us that we become friends or we wait, there's a problem of the friend zone, whereby you don't know utajipata kwa friend zone what time. Unaweza sema ati we are growing to be friends, upate matunda ilichunwa na mtu mwingine. So how do we learn then to balance that? As in, do you just come and tell the person, so I like you in this way, but I'd like us to cultivate the friendship, ama uache tu igrow yenyewe into it? I don't even know, but having that problem of friend zone kind of changes the dynamics of this thing. So I don't know how we'll go about that.
Wow. Thank you for that question. And by the way, that's a good confusion. I say so because nowadays, and especially the young girls, we are in the church, one leg is in the church and the other one is in the world, I am actually I'm even like the one who is even pressuring this young man, hey, let's have sex, because I am not fully committed to my Lord or in the church. What are the principles? What does the church teach? What are the doctrines? Is it your pastor who tells you to go and and when you say that matunda imechunwa, ni nani amechuna? Who has that authority?
Yes.
Who is it? Is me who can say yes or no. So the problem is not with that young man. The problem is actually with me, because I am not assertive enough to say no. Because honestly, if this young man loves you so much like he claims, he will wait. Even if you tell him 10 years, he's going to wait.
Yes.
But if we mwenyewe uko na shida, then utajipeleka tu, because in the first place, what were you doing? Where are you? When do you, for example, when do you meet with the young man who the relationship is like 2 weeks old or even a month old, and you already find yourself in his house? How did that happen?
And you are cooking and washing clothes.
You are cooking, you are washing, you are doing everything. So who are you anyway? By the way, have you now become the wife? You get my point.
Yes.
So the problem is actually, it's not, it is.
I think, Anne, there is something that I found as I was growing, which is missing in this generation.
Yes.
And you bear me witness, as you were growing up, there was the pride of being a girl.
Sure.
But nowadays, I'm finding that one, it's really eroding. And we need to work on it. Because those days, you would try to reach out to a girl, and you would realize it is not easy. But nowadays, a simple hi, an emoji,
chips na kuku,
ile ya kiss, ka chips hivyo,
Kwisha
maneno. I think there is the pride that was there in those days, when even young men could sit and discuss, and they were like, hey,
that girl,
mwenye atao huyo ataangukia mke. There was the pride of a girl child those days, because those days, it was those days when girls would keep off boys from them. But nowadays, as you are putting it, is attracting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I also think what you are saying is very important. I would wish to see the girl child back to that aspect of the pride of being a woman. You see, at the end of the day, it's biblical. Mwanaume bila mke hajakamilika. So bado watakuja. Maureen, watakutafuta wengi. So have that pride of a girl child. Are we there?
Yes.
Such that every young man who looks at you, they give a testimony to the others. And you see, when they give that testimony to the others, they will feel, I wish I'm the one who ends up with that lady. Lakini hii ingine, you sleep with one today, anaenda kwa yule mwingine anamwambia by the way so and so is cheap. So akija ukikataa na kuuliza si ulimpa so and so. So you're left like vulnerable, nitafanya nini? Huyo jamaa atawezana. You are kuweza already.
Yeah. And for your information, to add on what Ref is saying, when you have sex with a man, he actually, that is his pride. Like he's saying, and he will go actually to discuss you out there with other young men. So when they actually see you passing, they are like, hey, that one. So, oh, you were there yesterday, today it is me, tomorrow it is my friend, the other day. So they all go into a circle. So do you think any of these young men can even ever think of marrying you? Never. And actually that's why we have so many single mothers today.
And apart from single mothers, that's why in a village you realize at times, or even in a congregation like this one, any young man who intends to marry, if you realize young men are walking outside the environment, then there's something wrong with that environment. If you sat them down, they are going to tell you why. And that's something that also we need to be aware of. Because I mean, the season I've been here, I'm seeing God has blessed this church with beautiful ladies. And I don't understand why these young men cannot see a wife material in this. Which means, for the young men, they go for more than the beauty. And so that is where now the young ladies need to know. Yeah, so you may go back to the values as Mrs. Inanga is saying.
Values. Yes.
Yeah.
Taking you back, I have a concern. It's not like I'm disputing the advice we've been given by Madam, but I'm asking, now there's a contrast about, you said first love at first sight. But, we can't deny the fact that it's happening, and it's a theory that is being picked and has been picked over time. So now the theory, because, maybe someone else could say the advice you've given is also a theory. I'm speaking like it's a theory about a relationship. Like if someone tells you, if I tell Rachel that I love her, the first day maybe because I've met her, it's maybe lustful or something. But again, I'd argue it's a theory. Because I also follow a theory that says maybe, for example, I believe in love at first sight. So how do we break that? Because we can't deny the fact that it's happening and people are borrowing and buying it and saying, I'm feeling maybe it's lust. They can't differentiate between maybe lust and love. So there's a contrast because it's already there. So how do we handle it or break it or shed it or something?
Thank you for the wonderful question. I feel somehow that Anne tried to dwell on that, and let me take her back to that when she said that we need to know the values this person stands for. I mean, how do they behave when they are under pressure? Because all these things, remember, once you are in that relationship, there is what we call a facade in the first sight. Because someone has loved you, they will wear a facade. So if you're not careful, if you fall for that love at first sight, that's whereby you end up realizing, I didn't know that this person was this way. I didn't know this person was a womanizer. I didn't know this person was a bully. There are some points that she highlighted about even in the terms of bereavement, how do they behave? I mean, how patient can they be? And this is where we find out that at times you just go out and you are late by very few minutes. And then when you come back, this particular person is not ready to reason with you because it was love at first sight. You never understood all this. And then you become like a tom-tom drum. Every day you are receiving a beating. And you are like, sasa mimi sijui nilifanya nini, sijui namfanya nini. See, all these things are among the things that needs to be taken care of before you commit yourself to someone. Remembering that no one has got two lives to live. We only have one life to live. And the lack of this knowledge has brought about a generation who are heartbroken so much because of relationships.
Sure.
So many people are heartbroken, and remember, a heartbroken person can never become their best version. So when you are addressing this issue of relationships, remember, it goes even beyond the individual. It goes now to us being the best version of ourselves. I'm trying to think, why do we have so much, how do we call them, people in marriage getting killed or killing one another is for the very reason that someone never did their assignment. You see, you may get married to a person, or you commit yourself to a person who has no value of parents, has no value for friends. So the moment you are in that house is when you realize vitu kwa grau
Different.
So Anu, you can maybe help us on that a little bit more, on what she is saying, because that's an aspect of conforming to the patterns of the world as we are seeing the trends.
And not just conforming to the patterns of the world, to value systems that belong to another person. Because as we said, we need to take time, and as young people, we rush into it, and when the time you're young is when you're supposed to be building who you are. But now you rush, you find people are dating when they're in high school, people have started dating when they're in campus, like you have not even developed yourself. And I'm sure even where you are, you're still learning. So imagine a young person, anasema, now I am dating, I have a boyfriend, I know what I want, or I have a girlfriend, but they don't even know. Ananunuliwa nguo na mama yake bado, wengine bado tunalipiwa, hata kama uko na gari unalipiwa mafuta. So you wonder, how is this person saying that they know themselves? So you find us as young people, when we enter in relationships, we don't even have a value system anymore. Ukiambiwa twende hivi, ni kama punda tunaenda hivi, because you have not developed the value system. And I'd like you to address that as well.
Thank you very much. I love the questions you are asking, because they are very, very important. I would like us to take us back to our mothers and fathers when they were dating. Actually, when the young man could come and say and tell the father, Daddy, I have spotted a girl and I feel like that girl is good to marry. And by the way, before he said that, he has done a lot of homework, you know. And this father, is that so, my son? Yes. If that is so, then they start doing their homework also. Which is this family? You know, uko ni kwa nani? You know, they know uni clan ya wapi gani? You know, they know the person, they know the clan, where they come from, and then they go into details in that family. Do they have, for example, inaitwa nini the kefaba? Epilepsy. Do they have this type of sickness? Do they have witchcraft? What kind of a family is this? See? So they did all the homework. Yes. Are there some, their grandparents, maybe have they separated? Are they still together? And if they are together, what kind of, family is that really? So they really did a lot of homework. And so when the father is satisfied, he gets 1-2 men from the clan and now sends them to that home to inform them that my son loves your daughter, and the relationship starts. They never used to jump the way we are jumping now. Nowadays it's actually, the phone, hi, and you are sent a few messages and you are sent maybe 200 shillings, 500 shillings, you take chips and the following day you are together, So you do not give time for the relationship to grow. You just jump and you're already there. Like we said, it's like now the mango that is very, very kadog or so unripe, and it has already been picked to be eaten. Obviously, it will be very bitter, and you don't realize the bitterness until you are together. You have actually stayed 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and now this is why there is this the intimate partner violence. There is a lot of it nowadays because, like the Pasi said, now it's when you are, this person, this is how he is. So you don't even get time to enjoy your relationship because you are actually fearing this person. You don't know, it could be a person who kills other people. He could be a murderer or whatever, or a thief or whatever it is. But because you didn't get time, you didn't take time to create friendship so that you understand who this person is, this is why all these problems are coming in. And this is why we are saying, please take time. Marriage is, it's once you get married, it's a long-term relationship. It's not 1-2 months relationship.
And even on the same note of what you are saying, you realize the kind of a person this is. You see, we have even ladies who are getting into marriage very quickly only to realize that maybe the person I ended up with is a homosexual.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, someone that cannot satisfy even in bed. And Anne will be... she can affirm to this that most of the issues in marriage they emanate from the bedroom. Ukiona watu wanapigana sana, hizo zingine ni side shows, probably the bedroom. So it's good when you do your assignment pretty well. So that we will not fall prey of love at first
sight.
And it is true, yes, it is true, it can be love at first sight. But now give it time to grow. The emphasis here is time. It's not that the theory is not there like you are saying, but how fast? How have you given it time to grow?
And I believe this brings about the issue of boundaries now. Because as you've said, you as a young person, let's say me as a lady, I want to wait. And these are the boundaries I have set as a person. I believe both partners now, as young people, both the boy child and the girl child need to learn to respect boundaries. And at times they might not be necessarily sexual. Nezapata, maybe someone says, I want to get my PhD by when I'm 30, so I cannot settle down right now. That is my priority. And once these boundaries are out there, you're able to understand, am I ready to date this person? Is this the kind of woman I want? Is this the kind of man I want? But now, here is another problem. When we say issue of boundaries, do you put them out there in the first dates? Or do you wait as time is going? Ama unaangusha moja moja as you're dating? You like, akisema ikitu, you say, I don't do that. Like, how do you go now about that? So that you don't seem hostile or you don't seem like also you're too welcoming of other people's values.
Okay, thank you for that, Kiki. Like we said, when you start the relationship, we are emphasizing on time so that you understand each other. So as the process is going, remember, it's not like it's a straight line process. It's going, it has to be, it will go this way, it will go this way. So it really depends. So as you continue, as this relationship grows, I'm sure he tells you, this is what I like. And you also tell him, you even without telling him, without even asking, you actually just discover when maybe you go for coffee, this is what he likes. He likes eating pizza. He likes it, and maybe you like mandazi. And maybe so, if maybe you like mandazi and he likes pizza. So when, for example, later, what will you cook? Isn't it what he likes? Because as you are together, I view what goals are you setting? You just tell him, he may not even really ask you like, what are your goals?
And before I forget this, I think as you speak that way, you need also to give an advice. Like, if this is a young person, these two young people, when they go for a date, what do they talk about? I think you need also now to take us also to that as you answer that.
When probably you go for coffee, it is so automatic. you talk about your goals. You maybe now you are in school right now. You have not even finished university.
Reason for that is mostly when people are going out, there is a tendency that is growing that when they go out, they talk about romance.
That is where, you are jumping the gun. It's too early to talk about romance. So when actually you go out, just talk generally. If it is the initial stages, it depends on the stage you are in. So, and until you also come to talk about, I talk about my goals. For example, I am in school. If maybe I'm doing my first degree, I say, by the way, I would like to do my master's once immediately I finish my degree. And maybe I would like to get married when I'm 26, 27, 28,
Yes.
And he also now, slowly by slowly, not actually everything. I want to finish this, I want to do my what, I want to get married. No, slowly by slowly by slowly. If you take things too fast, actually, the other person, your partner will get bored too soon and wonder, now this one,
And I think also we need to learn to listen, not just hearing. Unapata, there are some things you might tag as red flags that time. Maybe you ignored because you just like the person. Unamwangalia tu venye anakaa vizuri, you forget to hear what they're saying. So let's also learn to listen.
It's very, very important. Very important. And also seek clarification. If maybe he said this, then you don't understand. You're like, maybe if I ask him, he will get annoyed. But you see, in the first place, if you don't understand, you assume you understood. So what happens next time? You actually maybe give you more information on the same, whereas you didn't even understand what it meant in the first place. So if you have not understood, seek clarification. By the way, when you said this, what did you mean?
Yes.
It's very important.
Now, there's someone who's asking from the post is, what if you already know the person's behavior and some of them you like, some you don't like, but still you'd like to approach the person and kind of ain't sure if you should. So what are the principles that should govern it? But let me go to the first question. This person is asking, you like some behaviors in a person, but some you don't like, but you still want to approach the person. So what guides you on this?
It's a good question, but I also answer it with a question. What are your goals as a person? What is it that you have liked some of my behaviors and you don't like others? So how about approaching me and now maybe asking, by the way, I see A, B, C, D. What about it? You talk about it. So if the person is open, you talk about it and maybe try to, maybe I don't like your behavior. Do you think, if I tell you, for example, in the initial stages, what example do I give? Maybe we are taking coffee and like you behave in a funny way, and I'm like, the way I ask, the way I behave, you are like, this person is behaving this way because she doesn't maybe like me, So I maybe get offended. Because I have not taken time to understand you. So if I don't like some certain behaviors, what steps have I taken? And what stage are we? Am I too fast? Am I, Because you, by the way, you can never like everything about me. Neither am I going to like everything about you. It's about, negotiating, like we said, and understanding each other. And once you come to understanding, and once you understand my personality, then you know how to handle me. Once I understand yours, I also know how to handle
you.
Maybe before you go to the next question, there's something very foundational that Anna said. My goals. What you've loved about me, or what I've loved about that other person, are they things that can facilitate in my goals? Because if they are things that are going to hinder my goals, then I'm in the wrong camp. So the things that you don't like about the person, let them be the minor things, as Anna's put it,
Yes.
because you won't love everything about a person.
True.
Yeah.
So, and another question is, what's the right time to start a relationship?
What's the right time? Okay. A human being becomes mature at 26, 27 years. And that is why we say now, this is actually don't be too late, don't be too early. Because remember also the biological clock is ticking. You know? Because some people, especially the ladies, say now before I get married, I need to have finished my PhD.
Yes.
How many years are those? What will have happened then? And by the time you finish your PhD, or even before you finish, you are working maybe somewhere, maybe you have a car, maybe you have or maybe you've even bought a plot. So it becomes, by the way, very difficult for a young man with nothing to approach a lady of maybe 35 years old who has everything. So when I come now as a young man into this relationship, what am I coming to offer?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And as I know, our traditional African men, they are the providers. So what am I coming to provide? So we need to grow together.
Yes.
We don't know, even if yes, the masomos are there and they are good. The houses are there and they are good. The cars are there and they are good. But when are they being bought?
Okay. So here comes another question. What are the principles that should govern the relationship? Are there common principles that we should look at?
I feel about the principles is basically like what we are discussing here today. What do I want? Who do I want to become in life?
Goals.
What are my values? Because that's the starting point. Because if I know what I want to become, then I'll have people around me who are going to be of help. People we can become together.
Yes.
So even in a relationship, as you get to that particular person, just ask yourself, what do I stand for? Who do I want to become?
Yes.
And then let your principles govern how you relate to the other person, the attraction that you have. Yeah.
So, and there's a question on, let's differentiate between dating and courtship.
Dating and courtship.
Yes.
I think dating is it going out?
Yes,
or is it
the
what?
process of
We
learning.
have liked each other, and now we have started. We have liked each other, and now we want to be together. And now when the relationship grows to intimacy,
Yes.
now, and as the man now, I've even already introduced you to my siblings, I've introduced to my relatives, even to my parents. Now the courtship starts.
Yes.
The courtship and the stages continues. So one comes earlier than the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then here is a question: are there things that are supposed to be dug from the roots, or should we grow new traits in a relationship like financial situations, wedding proposals, and breadwinning?
Please repeat your question.
Are there things that are supposed to be dug from the roots, or should we grow new traits in a relationship? And these are things like financial situations, wedding proposals, breadwinning. And I think what the person is trying to highlight is, do we try to understand the root of the idea of breadwinning from the root? Like, let's say Angela is dating John. Do we try and understand the concept of breadwinning for Angela from the roots? Like, how does she understand breadwinning? And Peter, how does he understand financial situations? So I believe that was what they're trying to highlight.
Yeah, that is actually very, very important to start right from the roots. Because you can imagine when you go to start at the branches, how do you even, where are you stepping? You know, the foundation is very, very important. The roots are very important. And this is why we are saying take time to really know each other.
Yes.
So that now you don't start with the branches, because once you start from the branch, actually that is the root cause of all the problems.
Yes.
Because you don't even know who this person is. So you go, once you are together, is now when you are learning, okay, this person can only give me 200 shillings, maybe for a whole week, and this is a lunch, breakfast and supper, and is expecting me to do ABCD.
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to discuss everything together right from the onset.
Yeah.
Or
And
the
so-
kind of a person who will give you 1,000 pop and they need a receipt.
Yes.
Wait.
And that's why we were talking about the personality.
Yes.
What is the personality of this person?
yeah.
What personality are you yourself? Yeah. So you really need to understand who you are,
Yes.
and even this, the financial, whatever the support, where is it coming from? Are you able to chip in?
Yes.
Even maybe much as you don't have a job, or you don't, whatever it is. What are our goals here?
Yes.
And even if we don't have money, do we come together and discuss it, and now we maybe decide to set up like a small business to support ourselves, or what really happens? Am I expecting you as my husband to give all the money, or what really?
Yes.
So the basics is discuss what are your goals.
Thank you.
Maybe to add on that, it's very important because nowadays we are seeing like you've completed your studies, probably the man you end up with, you've started law, he's providing, and then God blesses you as the woman of the house. I mean, you get this opportunity to work in an NGO, whereby you are earning like triple of the guys'
Salary.
earnings. So if you never started at the roots, the feelings of insecurity and the aspect of now the Meru or the African man now rises up, that ukiona mke amepata pesa hawezi heshimu mwanaume tena.
It's a stereotype.
Yeah.
So that's why the roots is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that as you grow up in all these things, and even if it came to that,
Yes.
your man is comfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
And I believe this brings about the issue of our parents not guiding us. I don't know if there's an age where it reaches our parents should teach us. Unajua, I don't know, some things wanatuambia. I don't know kama unaambiwa after umeolewa ama, because personally I've not gotten that. But I think our parents need to learn to talk to us about relationships, because they were there. And they have learned and they have seen things that we have not seen, and not just shun us. You know, when you go tell your mom, hey mom, I have a boyfriend, what is the first reaction? That is wrong. You should focus on studies. You should focus on your career. That is the first thing they do. They shun us, and we want to learn from them. So I think as parents, they should be open to teach us as well, and not shun us and say this is wrong. The same way you were saying when you talk about sex. Right now, if you go to an African parent, that is very wrong. That will seem very wrong. And as parents, I am challenging you out there. Just talk to us. Be free with us.
I think we are getting that, and even from the pastoral point, this tells us that once we are back, we need to work on this. But probably we can have one Sunday, not only one, probably one in every quarter.
Yes.
So that maybe your docket, the counseling department, can highlight all this to the parents, so that we are going to basically change. Yeah.
However, to add on to that, maybe Kiki, it's a good thing, yes, you are asking. But remember, there is no manual of parenting.
Yes.
We are, even as we are learning these things at this age, our mothers, our parents never told us.
Yeah.
And so for you people, you are actually very lucky that we are here for you. Yeah. So it's good for you. We at least you are better than us. Yeah.
Now, there's another question which has been aired is what are values? Like, what are these values that we are talking about? and like spiritual and physical needs, how will they meet each other, these needs?
Spiritual and physical needs.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say that a man is comprised of 3 parts: the body, and then we have the soul and the spirit.
Yes.
And all these work in harmony. So when you talk about values, remember the soul and the spirit, they are housed by the body.
Yes.
Are we there? But the access to the soul and the spirit is again through the body. So when you talk about these values, they intermarry. We can't talk about the physical values, because the physical values, they are the ones that facilitate the spiritual values.
Yes.
When you talk about the right spiritual values, they have a way of also encompassing the physical values. So you cannot differentiate the two, the physical and the spiritual.
Now, you find that as young people, when we're checking for compatibility with someone, we tend to assume that you can take up the challenge, like let's say a Muslim and a Christian deciding, we can do this. But I believe it's not that simple. And the difference in value system can bring a challenge. So could you address that? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, actually, those are now the values you're talking about. The religion, the Christianity, the Muslim. If because most of the young girls, when now a Muslim comes and tells them they want to marry them, they say yes, we can get married, and at the back of your mind, you are like, once we are in the house, I'm actually going to preach to this young man, and you actually change to Christianity. But how simple is that? Actually, when you go now, he'll change you, because in the first place, you did not put it clearly to him, what are your values? Your values were vague. He didn't understand. If you say you are Christian, then not very sure, because where are you? Him, he said he's a Christian and he's a Muslim, and he was assertive about that.
Yes.
But for you, in your mind, you're like, no, this man has money. No, this man has ABCD. So wacha tu tuende, tukiwa nyumbani nitamuongelesha pole pole, and then until I convert him.
Yes.
Then when that happens, you are vague about your values. You are not sure of whom you are.
You are taking me back to a point you mentioned about having one leg or one foot in the church, the other one out.
Sure.
I'm yet to see a Muslim lady get married to a Christian young man being converted. It's vice versa. Muslims are marrying Christian ladies, converting them. But I'm yet to see a Christian guy marry a Muslim lady.
A Christian?
A Christian guy marry a Muslim lady and convert her into Christianity.
We have seen one in our church. There was one. They're rare, by the way.
But
very rare.
There is.
But
Is it
very
one
rare
or two? I
cases.
think there is one.
One.
Meaning the values of Muslims, they are more engraved unto them than the values of Christians.
Yes.
And this goes to the basic now, from pale mtoto as you grow up.
So I think this tells us as people, as individuals, that you need to stand aside from that relationship and ask yourself, these values, am I willing to compromise them if they are different from person A? Am I willing to change? Am I willing to lose myself to this person? Because we get carried away, tunasema tutajulia uko mbele, ama nitambadilisha, ama especially with cheating. Cheating, loyalty is a problem. Communication, we don't talk about these things. Tuna assume uko mbele kutakuwa better. And I don't know, as married people who are in this thing, how do you think this is different for you people, and how we are assuming it is there? The assumption that things...
There's something I think Anne mentioned at some point that I want to build on. It is during courtship that parties need to give themselves so much to the other one. If you're in courtship, and I mean you can't get hold of his phone, you're in danger.
Red flag.
Ukishaingia kwa hiyo nyumba, you can't change that.
Yes.
There are things that you can't change. If someone is cheating, even when you choose to go into marriage with that person,
Yes.
please be prepared that you are going into marriage with someone who is cheating.
Yes.
And they are going to cheat even with your best friends. So prepare
Yes.
for that cross. So there are things that we can't debate about. There are basic things we can't debate about.
Yes.
Unless that one is changed before, you can't change it
Later.
It's like you get to someone who is an alcoholic and you are like, hata Biblia inasema
Tumwombe.
now you're becoming very mean. It's like a person without principles. Yeah. Because if this person is that way, then please, the advice is have your principles and value
Yes.
your life.
Okay. Yeah. And now, I've seen a situation whereby you've said people have challenges, like maybe their upbringing kind of damaged who they are and they become toxic partners. And you'd find young people saying, I will help him or her change, right? And I've seen it doesn't go that way. It never goes that way. It's either you're part of the mess or you now become a problem as well. So being a counseling psychologist, can you enlighten us on this?
Yeah. Let me say that our lives as human beings is complicated.
Yes.
And we all come from families. Each one of us comes from somewhere. We all have backgrounds. And in our individual families, there are challenges that are there. There are so many unfinished businesses. And that is why you see us behaving the way we behave.
Yes.
Knowingly or unknowingly. No? So this gets help. These two young people get help through premarital counseling. It is very, very important.
Yes.
During the premarital counseling, it's where now the counselor, as he or she takes this young couple through counseling, they understand this individual has this unfinished businesses. Yes. She has so many issues from, and remember, most of them are from our original families. So if there were, for example, patterns from this young man's home where he could see his father beating his mother throughout, you know, and the young man assumes this is normal. There is nothing abnormal about it.
Yes.
But during the premarital counseling, now he will understand. Okay? You mean what my father was doing was wrong. And if the counselor realizes that there are deep-rooted issues, then the counselor takes aside the individual. They have individual therapy sessions.
Yes.
And so the person is helped to come out of this. And until they can even go to as many sessions as possible until this problem is over. Otherwise, if not, then it will be taken to the family. And the family will continue in circles.
Okay. So there's someone asking, how should we go about being scared of the response before asking someone out? I think this mostly goes to the boy child, that fear. As in, so the person is asking, how do you go about being scared of this response?
Of being told no.
Yes. And nowadays even the girl child is stepping up, so we need to know
and
how to
that's by the way a good question. The young man, if you really love this girl, there is really nothing to be scared of. If you are patient. Because, as we said, if you take time together,
Yes.
I understand you, you understand me. By the way, it is even almost automatic. There is really nothing hard that will come because I already understand what makes you happy. I understand what makes you annoyed. And even if you get annoyed, I need not be worried. We need to discuss about it.
Yeah.
You know, as we said, a high statement. I need to explain to you, by the way, you said ABCD that didn't make me happy.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Yeah? So, if you take time to understand each other, that will be automatic. I think the problem comes in because you want to be too fast.
Yes.
But if you take time, it's automatic.
Okay.
And I think there is another challenge in that. I know even the founding father of our church, John Wesley, he lacked a father figure in his life. And therefore, at some point, he went for ministry and he left this girl.
Yes.
I mean, he would do everything, go to their house for prayers, and the girl was waiting for this guy to propose. He never did it. Someone else came and he was like, hey, Sophia, I'm seeing you with Wesley all the time. Is there anything? And Sophia was like, no, he has never proposed. We are just friends. This guy proposes. And now John Wesley felt, oh no, this guy now is my enemy. Amechukua kilichokuwa changu. So I think there is also the aspect of empowering girl child that has been there for some time. Tumeacha boy child sana. See, boy child needs to be prepared. If we have to go back where we are talking with mom, that the pride of a girl child.
Yeah.
This is whereby atakuja arushe mistari yote, and then you are like, okay, I'll think about it. So boy child needs to be prepared on persistence, on what you love.
Yes.
Yes.
And defining the relationship.
And be able to stand for
Being able
yourself.
to stand. Because I get where you're coming from. We've come to a situation whereby now the boy child is even afraid. So some relationships are being actually started or initiated by the girl child. Girl child ndiye anapeleka mtu out, anambia by the way, how are you? Sijui nini. So they get the ones out of the boy.
Yes. Maureen, what's your take on this?
It's interesting. For me, I had a different concern.
Yes.
Like, I have friends who are older than me.
Yes.
And who are guys. And it's really tricky for them. Like, no, it's not about the asking now. They have this fear, you know, like if I start dating, the way we're saying guys are dating when they are older. So they're saying if I start dating right now, I'm not established. I don't have something maybe to, you know, to maybe if we start a family, something we can, as a breadwinner, you know, the man is the solemn breadwinner as much as you'd have maybe a spouse who is supportive in either way. So there's this fear. I was asking like maybe some advice on how they could break out, like, you know, you accept yourself, you know, from where you are or whatever issue you have, and then you also, you know, actually I think even the confidence is coming, the cowardice is coming out of where I feel from an individual point of view, I have nothing of my own, or maybe I can't sustain this girl, you know, I can't take her for dates and all. So how they step out that fear, you know, of maybe feeling like I have to get to 30, you know, when you're 30, I have to build a house, you know, to get to marry someone or start dating someone, where maybe they can start feeling like it's okay, the way you are saying, to begin together, you know, you start together, like it's acceptable. So how do they get to that point of that acceptance?
Yeah, thank you. I think getting to that point, as I said, let me repeat again, that if you start small, you go building on this, you know, love, you just tell each other, by the way, pahali tumefika, I think we are ready to marry. Much as we have nothing, we can build each other.
Yes.
You know, we start small. But nowadays, people want to start. You want to start with a Mercedes Benz. You are maybe getting 30,000 as your salary, and you want to start very far. How will you even be fueling this car? You know, once the children start coming, how are you going to feed them? Are you going to? But once you start, you don't have to start in even in a one-bedroom house.
Yes.
You can even start in a single room, a bed-sitter. As you can start with a single room, you graduate maybe to a bed-sitter, to a one-bedroom. You continue slowly by slowly. And I think the major issue here is we want to everything like tap, instant. We are not ready to be patient and let things grow. Let nature take its course. So if we are patient, there is nothing hard.
And on top of that, there is a very unique grace given to the feminine gender. You see, when I married at 48 kgs. I married when I was 48 kgs, and today I've grown. I'm over 60. So,
Progress.
and what I may advise the boy child is that they need to overcome the fear. Of course, even as a church, we are coming up with programs of meeting the boy child and speaking these things. Because I don't know whether you've ever realized, very few men will make it without a woman. Irrespective of how much the man is earning. It's like there is a gift of order placed upon the feminine gender. So I've seen women building the career of men to greatest heights. So probably the difference now between where this boy child is and where they need to be is a wife.
To elevate it.
I think you're right. You cannot. Very few men can do so many things for themselves on their own. When you get married is when you discover and get married to the right person.
Yes.
It's when you discover, oh, you mean I didn't know this. It is so basic. It is so what? But for us, we are given, honestly, we are given the gift of nurturance. We nurture no matter how little it is.
Yes.
We make it
True.
Yeah.
You see, this explains why even when a small child is crying, mtoto akicheka baba atachukua, akianza kulia anarudishia mama. Si kwa ubaya, it's because there is the gift that mom is talking about, the nurture. The lady has been given the ability to nurture. So any man outside there, you need the right woman, because the right women, when they come in place, the nurturing starts.
Yes.
And just a matter of time, we see the results.
Boy child umesikia hiyo.
Before Pasi comes out of there, let me mention that nowadays there is too much competition. I want, because my husband has PhD, I also want to have PhD so that I don't feel inferior. And the man also maybe, maybe I'm good in studies, which I'm not anyway. I want to, is that insecurity when one partner is above the other.
Yes.
And all this comes because one, you never set goals together. You never sat down to tell each other, these are my dreams.
Yes.
And the other partner also to tell you, these are my dreams. You discuss about them. Now you continue developing them slowly by slowly.
Yeah.
Then I suddenly start, by the way, from next month, I'm starting my master's class. So the man feels, master's class. For me, maybe I don't even have the first degree. How do you have your first degree, now you want to go to master's, where am I? He feels so insecure, and he actually works very hard to your downfall. Instead of supporting you, he starts distracting you, which is very wrong, and you can't go far. Yeah.
So there's a question here on stages in dating and the role of God in the stages, and enabling one to get a marriage partner. God enabling one getting a marriage partner. So I think this is talking about involving God in seeking a partner. And as young people, that sounds extra, or it sounds like hiyo ni ya wale watu wakubwa ama ni ya wale wazee. But we forget that God is a very important part of our life. And I don't know, Pasi, I think you can highlight the importance of God in a relationship.
Thank you for that. Number one, God speaks through the revelation. There is what we call the general revelation. And that is very basic to each one of us. And that is basically what we are addressing here today, the general revelation. Whereby, as you start, that's where we started by take your time, know your goals, know the goals of this other person, what do they stand for. When you are doing all this, already you've started involving God. Because as you do that, you are praying that God help me make the right choices. The challenge I have is when you're already in the wrong one, is when you are trying now to involve God, akutoe. So it's good we start with him. The others who will say that God spoke to them through a dream, I want to sound a warning here. I'm not dismissing that.
Yes.
It happens. But please, God is never an intimidator. So nilete mhubiri hapa siku moja, a young tack, after the service ameona Rachel, akaona Rachel ni mrembo sana, and then after the service it's like amechukua namba lita anakuambia I had a dream having a wedding with you. Please don't be intimidated by that. Tell him it's good you had a dream. Hata mimi Mungu atanionyesha. God is never an intimidator. Because I have seen in religious circles this being misused. Mtu anakuja anaona Maureen and then anaamua because Maureen is in the church. Nikimwambia tu Mungu aninenea. Maureen ufofo. Kwisha maneno. So God is never an intimidator. Another thing is as you build on it, let's remember to keep the distance that we need. You see, even biologically, there are what we call the erogenous zones in the body of a person. Why on earth should you allow someone an access to your erogenous zones? What you are doing is you are opening a window. And the Bible is very clear, do not give the devil a foothold. When you start opening that, the body now, the chemistry, will start demanding for more. Hapa ndio unasikianga mtu akisema, you see one thing led to another one. What were you doing when you allowed the first thing lead to the other one?
Hey, so as young people, we have so many problems that are never ending, but I think we shall conclude on that. And thank you so very much for your views. They have been really important, and some of them have been enlightened on. I hope mmesaidika huko nje. And I'd like for Rev to end this with a word of prayer. And thank you so much, Mrs. Inanga, and feel welcome. Aye.
Thank you and welcome.
Maybe before I end, we need a parting shot from Anne.
Yes.
So that young people there will know, because I know God is a God of a second chance.
Sure.
So you might be outside there, you've been heartbroken in a relationship. There are aspects of the counseling psychology that are needed. And then, of course, we come to the spiritual aspect of it. And I'm grateful to God that this church, God has equipped this church for the season. So please, you are out there, you are going through a hell of a time. Please, it's not over. Don't think of suicide. Don't think of becoming someone loose. Help is within reach. So, Anne?
Thank you very much, Pastor. Everyone out there, if you have any problem, it is never too late.
Sure.
Even if you are maybe in a calm, we stay relationship, and you have started discovering that things are going haywire, please don't fight. Please don't kill each other. We are here, we can help. We are very much available, and this is why we are doing this for you.
Yes.
And remember, once the first step of being helped is, first of all, accepting there is a problem here.
Yes.
Once you accept there is a problem, there is no one who is 100% human being. There is no one who is excellent. We all have our own weaknesses. It's only that we work through our weaknesses, and let's emphasize the strong points, the positive points of the other partner.
Yes.
Let's encourage each other. But where there is a problem, please come for help.
Okay.
And my number is there.
Yes.
It will be given at the end of this. Then you can always come for help.
I think you can share the number
Yeah,
to the viewers.
my number, you can actually call me even directly, then we arrange how you can get help. My number is 07
07
22
22
4
4
6
6
1
1
0
0
6
6
1.
1. I think you can repeat again. It will be showed on the
Let
screen.
me repeat again. 07
07
22
22
4
4
6
6
1
1
0
0
6
6
1.
1.
Karibuni sana.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Rev.
Thank you so much, our host. You are doing a lovely job.
Thank you.
This is amazing, and I thank God for you. To every young person out there, if you feel you are lost and you are in need of somewhere you can be nurtured, somewhere you can be understood, and somewhere that the best out of you can be brought out, Ruaraka Methodist Church is your place. We are here as per God's assignment, and we are here for you. Before I pray, let me read a verse here for each one of us from the book of 1 John, chapter number 1, from verse 8. And the Bible says, if we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. Verse 10. If we claim we have not sinned, we make him out to be a liar, and his word has no place in our lives. My parting shot is, each one of us has got a past. We are not here as judges. We are here as destiny helpers who God has seasoned for your sake. Let us pray. We thank you, Lord, for the privilege of this live coverage. We thank you even for the young people for coming up with such an idea. We thank you for the professionals in this church whom, Jehovah, they've decided to give themselves away for the purpose of changing the narrative in this generation. Even as they do that, oh God, I pray that your wisdom and knowledge and your favor will rest upon them. And every young person that, Abba Father, we are interacting with, that your Holy Spirit is going to brood this truth in them, even Jehovah, that they may know that there is life. That, Abba Father, having failed in the past does not mean that they are failures, but it was a process of learning, and there is hope. Thank you even for this church. Thank you for every congregate, Jehovah, Lord. I surrender ourselves before thee, that your glory will shine upon us the more. Thank you for you remain to be our Lord and God, and indeed we have none but you. We part boldly, spiritually bed us together by the cause of your love, till we meet again. Glory be unto your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
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 Shalom.